absolutely gross. I mean, this is just repulsive, offensively speaking. I mean, imagine sitting down to watch the game last night and somebody sent you a little 3, 4, 5-second video before the game and said, yo, this is going to be the offensive highlight tonight. And it's a 5-hopper back to the mound that the pitcher airmails past the first baseman. Wow. All right, so listen, Teague, everybody knows the Yankees aren't hitting. All right, we know this. 182 against the Guardians, a $138 so far this series. We don't need to regurgitate the stats. They look impotent. What worries me even more, all right, is that they don't sound like winners either. Everything coming out of the postgame show, starting with the manager, going down to the starting pitcher. I didn't even love what Judge said, although that was least culpable on the list so far. How in the world are you talking about miles per hour and the stupid roof and exit velocity when you lost again to a team that owns you?
It sounds like excuse making, and the only people who make excuses are losers and teams who know that they can't win and they got to find other reasons to blame for their ineptitude. But as much as we can get on Aaron Boone and Judge and Sevy and all those guys for the reasoning behind the roof being open, even though we know that has nothing to do with the Astros, it comes down from Major League Baseball. At some point, I can't help it, but think about the individual accountability of each and every one of these players. Now, and I'm not. This isn't a bad thing. This isn't a crushing of, say, Gleyber Torres or Josh Donaldson, both of whom had hits yesterday. Torres was an RBI. But it's more about the little tiny things that make differences, especially at this point in the season. And you and I were talking about Severino and his pitch sequence to Bregman when he got blasted at 3-1 home run, which basically was the difference in the game. Yep. Right? And again, this isn't a knock on Sevy. He thought the four-seamer he could get past him. He missed it. And it resulted in a home run. And in most cases with the Yankees team that has a bunch of bombers and guys who can make up for that, you don't worry about it. But this team isn't that good. So individual accountability becomes paramount. Gleyber Torres, before he got the RBI, knock up the gut. I mean, his
That's
swing.
a 6-hopper. I mean, geez.
But still, his swing on the second strike, it was like, what are you doing?
Drives me nuts.
It has to drive you nuts.
It does.
And ultimately, whatever it was, I don't know, some sort of clairvoyance in his mind, he checks up and actually gets a base hit and gets a run in, and then they get 2 runs back that inning. So it ultimately worked out. But Aaron Judge feels like he's getting a pass because he's been inept for the most part, even though he did have a hit yesterday. It just feels like there's a need for this team to take state of themselves individually. Otherwise, they have no shot. I mean, the 30 strikeouts over 2 games, all those things you can throw out there, it tells the larger picture. But I think the story and why they haven't had a chance in these first couple of games is because the individual accountability is not dialed in enough to a man on this team.
I mean, listen, how many times can we get on the air and say, first of all, I'm asking rhetorically because I'm done asking the question. It's not that early anymore. And, I've said a lot, baseball's a cyclical sport. Baseball's a sport of failure. I understand that if you're talking 7-8 at-bats into the postseason. These guys got to start hitting, man. I mean, it's just gross. I mean, 25 swing and misses last night. 25. The Yankees, now listen, this is not breaking news. Houston's better. Houston's a lot better. Houston's really always been better. And how about this to just showcase the difference between the two franchises right now? Now, I know that Altuve's not quite the player that, even though he had a good average OPS and of the regular season, good numbers during the regular season, he's not quite the same guy. Get a little older, doesn't run as much, whatever. Jose Altuve, although he did hit the one ball very hard, that was a sick double play. Peraza, love it. By the way, that's one of the really bright pieces of the future. Peraza is sick with the leather. Awesome. But Jose Altuve doesn't have a hit yet, all right? Does not have a hit yet, not just against the Yankees, didn't have a hit either against Seattle. He is 0 for 23. His team has not lost a game. Think about how we processed and how many times we have said the name Jose Altuve and attributing that directly as a direct correlation to the Astros' success. Altuve this, Altuve cheated, Altuve MVP, Altuve, future Hall of Famer. The guy's got a donut and they haven't lost a game yet. It's amazing to me. And, I'm with you. I mean, Dave Winfield got crushed for not doing anything in the 1981 World Series. We love Aaron Judge. He's worth every penny. Wake up.
Yeah.
Wake up.
And it's not as if it's not like he's horrible at bat.
He's been horrible.
But he's been horrible. And again, I think sometimes you get to the point, and you mentioned this earlier about the game, like it's a game of failure, and everybody goes through these cycles, and eventually you'll come out of it. And I think at some point you get so comfortable expecting to come out of it that it's just going to happen and not taking the proactive steps. And I don't know what they are. I didn't play baseball, but I can see it. I can watch it from afar and realize that things that Aaron Judge used to never get fooled on during the regular season, he's now getting fooled on. So is it the pressure? Is it or the pitching? And obviously the pitching's better, but what is it? And if Aaron Judge can't figure it out, then the Yankees are hopeless. If not Stanton, because he's actually been the one guy who's given you timely hits when it matters, but if they can't take individual accountability and dial into themselves to figure out how to do the little things that they've always been doing all season long, the Yankees are hopeless.
And, I don't disagree with that.
And we know they're not the better team.
No.
We know that they were going to have to play above themselves to beat the Astros, because the truth of the matter is the Astros don't fear the Yankees. They don't look at them as a threat. We knew this 3 months ago when they came into Yankee Stadium and just kind of took 2 or 3 and were like, all right, whatever. We know we can beat you. We can beat you anywhere. Beat you here. We can beat you at home. We can beat you on the moon. We can beat you anywhere.
8 of 9 at Houston. The Yankees have lost.
And so the Astros aren't going to give it away because they're just too well coached and well
Dude, let me just cut the
team,
nut here, man. Let me just condense it. Here's the Yankees are becoming the Twins. Like the Twins were to the Yankees back in the day. The Yankees are now that to the Astros.
Yes.
Oh, we're playing the Yankees? We're good.
Do you still give them a chance?
Here's why I give them a puncher's chance. Good question, Tiki. They still have the pitching matchups now. Like, I shouldn't say still. For the first time in the series, they've got a discernible advantage on the mound. And that begins tomorrow. Garrett Cole. Now, listen, it's going to be McCullers. He's got a nasty deuce when he's on. He's tough. I get it. But you're looking at, 2 people that the Yankee fans have to have, an inordinate amount of faith in to stabilize things. Yankees aren't getting swept. Yankees are going to eventually put up a crooked number, I think. But I want to get back to your point about the accountability for the players. I think it's a good one. Don't get me wrong. I don't like and I know he was asked the question, so I want to be fair to Aaron Boone. When he's asked the question about the home run and the wind, he was brought there. But it just, I thought he was a little bit too specific. Like, you're referencing exit velo, and, Judge's ball was 106 miles per hour. It's a home run everywhere. Bregman hit it 91 miles per hour. It shouldn't be a home run, blah, blah, blah. There's a huge disparity. You got Severino using the word lucky, which to me is far more egregious than anything Aaron Boone said last night. Lucky, you know what would be lucky? If you won. That's lucky, based on the recent trends as the way the Yankees play against the Astros. Lucky would be if the Yankees actually won a baseball game. But, Tiki brings up a point, and it is important. And we can bag on the construction of the roster, the swing and misses, the injuries, the this, the that, all the things we talk about really all summer, all year here on The Fan. At the end of the day, you could get with a hitting coach for 3 hours, and he can scream or talk until his tongue disappears, right? You can study every angle on the iPad, launch angle, whatever. You can just immerse yourself in the pitching charts and the patterns and, the probability of pitcher, the slider, 22% when he's up in the count 2-1. He's going to throw this pitch. You dig in, you got to hit. So you're right. Let's not absolve the Yankees, the hitters who look absolutely atrocious.
Yeah.
Atrocious.
It's easier to blame Boone and to blame Cashman for the
How do you
roster
not score
construction.
some runs?
But at the end of the day, it comes down to the guy who's actually in the arena making with the pressure on him. And in that moment, and they know they can do it. They're lost right now.
I don't know.
They are lost. You don't
Well,
strike
I know
out
that,
30
but
times in 2 games.
No, but when you say that they know that they can do it, I'm not. I don't know if I agree with that.
Well, if
I don't know if they can
they're
do
at
it.
the point where they don't believe in themselves,
Yeah.
then the individual accountability is the least of our worries.
Well, that's true. That's fair. And I'm not gonna go that far. I'm gonna question. I'm going to wonder whether or not they believe they can do it. I'm not going to flat out state that they don't believe that they can do it because that's unfair.
Yeah.
And now I'm getting out of my lane. I talk on the radio. These guys are professional athletes. I get that. Now, I surmise that there's a great deal of trepidation that's crept into their mindset as to whether or not they can actually beat this team because, I don't know, they never do. But this is gross, man. You hit 182 against the Guardians. You're hitting $130-something now. What the hell are we waiting for? This is no longer an aberration, an outlier. Oh, wow, it's a bad day or two. Yankees just, they're collapsing. 877-337-6666.